More than 1,000 towns and villages across Ukraine are left without power after Russia's latest bombardment targets power plants.
Russia says it's evacuating civilians from the occupied city of Kherson as Ukrainian forces make big gains in the area.
And Russia's new military commander in Ukraine has said he's preparing to evacuate people from the occupied city of Kherson. General Sergei Surovikin has been put in charge of trying to hold back Ukraine's counteroffensive, but he's admitted that the situation on the ground is difficult.
In the last half an hour, Russia's President Vladimir Putin has said he's introducing martial law in 4 Russian-occupied regions of Ukraine that Moscow last month claimed as its territory. It comes after Russia started evacuating civilians from the occupied city of Kherson. The general in charge of the Russian invasion has admitted that his forces are facing a difficult situation in Kherson, with Ukrainian troops closing in.
Well, much of southern Ukraine is waking up to some form of blackouts this morning. 1,000 towns and villages across the country are without power, and Russia launched a series of attacks on the country's electricity networks. And the Ukrainians have conducted a complete news blackout in southern Ukraine, raising expectations that a major military offensive could be on the way. Our international correspondent John Sparks went to visit a neighborhood in the eastern city of Bakhmut, which has been intensely shelled by the Russians.
In the city of Bakhmut, some days are more difficult than others. Once home to 100,000 people, it's now a major military objective. And this ambulance must deal with the consequences.
There's smoke at the end of the lane, or possible fire.
On the outskirts of the city, the paramedics find a woman on the ground. Her chest is bleeding, the tips of her shoes torn off. She calls out to her partner. This neighborhood has been pounded by the Russians, the front line just a few kilometers away. And as the crew treat their patient, another attack begins. We saw burning white phosphorus above us and felt the ground shake from multiple explosions. We ran for the car. We couldn't stay any longer. We've left the ambulance crew there with a woman suffered what looks like serious injuries. But that area came under attack, possibly from the air, maybe Grad missiles, we're not sure. But we couldn't stay. It just wasn't safe. We went back to the station and waited for the paramedics. They told us Rima was in a bad way.
When the missiles hit, you hit the ground, but you didn't run away.
This city has been broken, sliced and pummeled in less than a month. Nowhere is safe.
Okay, guys, take up the speed. Let's go. Take up the speed.
This car was hit by an artillery shell. The body of the driver consumed by fire. But there are people trying to save what's left of this place. Members of the fire department take a dozen calls a day, like this fire in a timber-framed house. The blaze was threatening a city neighborhood.
Smoke is thick, but these men don't know what caused the fire. It could be a Russian shell, it could be a flare dropped from a helicopter. It's an active military area.
They tugged at the roof and tried to force their way in. The firefighters worried they'd find residents trapped inside. To survive this war, many now live underground. Anybody in there, I asked? Nobody there. The owners have fled, said another. This is a dangerous job.
Це дуже небезпечна робота. Ну, маємо те, що маємо. Ми боремось за свій дім, за свою Україну, за свою батьківщину.
The Ukrainian army has retaken territory to the north and south, but the situation in Bakhmut is different. It's the site of some of the most ferocious fighting in this war. Russian intentions are written on the walls, an exhibition for everyone to see. John Sparks, Sky News in eastern Ukraine.